Hey, this video is on how to set up items on the new SuperFan site. The idea is that this is a page that fans can come to and get credit for showing up to NT events, or just to say they're an NT fan. So the way it's going to work is they will get points to level up. It says check in at a sports event to gain points and level up as a Blazer fan. They'll level up, and it'll also show the level of who's first, who's second on the ladder here anytime somebody wants to click on there and see where they're at. So I'm going to put one that is restricted just to check in as a fan on a weekly basis. So I've already made a couple, but I'm going to show you the whole process of making the whole thing. So the first thing is you have to make an icon to check in. So you do that under Stash. So I'm going to hit Setup. And you can see I've already made a basketball and a football one. I'm going to add an item and say, I'm just going to say Blazer Fan. And this is going to be one that's available to pick up once a week just to say, check in and say I'm a fan. So I'm going to get a icon. I've already downloaded it, so I'm going to click there. I clicked right here where you could drag it there. I'm going to choose a file from my computer, and I'm going to choose the one I just did that says NT. So they're going to be able to click on this button that says NT to say they're a fan once a week. So I'm going to hit Save and Next. Location doesn't really matter, there's only one spot, so I just put page, and I'm going to say unlimited supplies of this. In other words, as long as they can see it, they can do it, and I'm going to say they can do one a week. Collection is one a week. On the other ones I said one a day because you can really only go to one basketball game a day or one football game a day. And then I'm going to hit Save and Next, and it's going to show this image, and by default it says pick up, and I can change the words. I'm going to say click to get Blazer fan points. So I'm going to put that on there, and then you can see right there is what I have to copy. So I'm going to copy that, and you see as soon as I click on it, it gets all the words. So I'm going to hit Control C, I'm going to say back to main page. So now I've just made one that's just a general Blazer fan one. So I'm going to go back to the SuperFan site, and I'm going to put this one up top in the general section. So I'm going to turn editing on, and I'm going to add a label. And on the label, I'm just going to click to get the HTML, and I'm going to paste that HTML right in there. And then I'm going to hit Save and Return to Course. And so now up top it says click to get Blazer fan points. Once they click on that, it's going to go away. It's going to go away for a whole week, and then it's going to come back. So that's the way these all work. If they click on it, it goes away for the number of time it said that it would be for that particular item. Now that was one for that, and I set that one up, and once I set it up, really it's going to be the same process. I'm going to make a label, but then I'm going to, for specific sports, restrict the label to only show up when the sport's in action. So, for instance, there's a football game from 6 to 10 on the 19th. There's a one for, I think, the freshmen or something from 10 to 12, or maybe it's reserve on the 20th, and then the last one, it's an away game, is I put 7 to 10 because the game didn't really start till 7 on that day too. So at those times only, this icon's going to show up, and they're going to be able to click check in on the sport. Yes, they could do it from anywhere, but the idea is that it shows up when the sport's going on, and so you can click to get credit for being there. I've done the same thing for one basketball game, and I've set these up so this whole fall sports category is gone, and we can kind of drag it around because you're not going to be able to see it then, and now we're setting up winter sports, and these will just be invisible after October 30th. This one's not going to show up until March. I don't know what date I actually put in there. I just threw one in there. So next I'm going to do one for another fall sport. Let's see if I can find a wrestling image. And so what I did was I just went over here to Google Images, and let's see if I put in wrestling, see if I get some kind of wrestling image that doesn't include people. I don't know how that would be. I don't know what a wrestling icon would look like. Maybe that would be hilarious right there. Um, there we go. Maybe that. Okay, that looks like a good generic. Too bad it's not orange, but I'll go ahead and use that. So I'm going to go ahead and I right-clicked on it and hit Save Image As, and I'm going to put wrestle. So I've got some kind of an image. So then I'm going to do the same thing with Stash. I'm going to hit Setup. I'm going to add an item. I'm calling it wrestle. And I'm going to pick that picture, choose a file, wrestle, upload the file, save and next. It's going to go on the page. I could put fan page or something. Again, I'm going to say unlimited, but they can only do it once a day. And then save and next. And check in at the match to get fan points. Maybe you say credit. I don't know. Change that to whatever we want to. So again, I'm going to go and copy this and say back to main screen. And I'm going to go back to SuperFan now. And I'm going to go down under Winter Sports, and I'm going to add a label. And the reason we're doing it as labels is so that I can put the restrictions on it for when there's wrestling matches. So I just have to drop that in there, and then I can go down to restrict access, and now I'm going to go through the process of how do I restrict access to specific events. So I'm going to go ahead and look and see when high school wrestling starts, and I see absolutely nothing on the high school wrestling calendar, so I'm going to go over here to Winter Sports on another screen, by the way, and pick Varsity Boys Wrestling and take a look at that calendar. Okay, so basically I'm looking at this calendar saying when is Varsity Boys Wrestling playing over here, and I'm going to put those as the times that this shows up through the restrict access. So I'm going to add a restriction, and you add a restriction set. Okay, so then you get the set. I'm going to add a restriction. I'm going to say date, and the first one is Friday, December 7th. Starting at 5 p.m. This is all military time, so 1700. And then inside here, I'm going to add a restriction, again, date. And now I'm going to say until December 7th. I wish that it had the drop-down calendar. I'm going to say it's going to go on for 3 hours. I'm going to say from to 2000. I know that's probably long. So it says it must match the following. I'm going to poke this in the eye so that you don't even see it unless it shows up then. Then, that's that restriction. I'm going to add another restriction set, and I'm going to poke it in the eye too. And up here, instead of must match all, you want it to be any. So if it matches this or this, and I'm going to add the second date here. The second one is at Valley View on January the 5th. So 5 January 2019. It says it starts at 9:30 a.m. And then I'm going to inside here again add restriction to date and say until 5 January 2019. I don't know. I'm going to say noon. No idea how long that would last. It might even be way longer than that for all I know. And so now if you look at the restrictions, and I'm going to poke this in the eye now up here. So it must match any of the following, meaning it can be this date, because it says must match all from here until here. And this one says must match all from here until there. And then I can keep going and adding restriction sets for every single one of the wrestling matches. So I'd add a restriction again, date. The next thing is January 12th. So I put 12, January 2019. And this one starts at 10 a.m. So I'm going to say 10, add restriction, date until 12 January 2019. 2000, come on, you can do it. There we go. 2019. I, again, don't know how long a wrestling match lasts. So I've got that one on there as well. So when I hit save and go back to course, I can see now the wrestling is not available unless any of these are done. Okay, and then the any are all of after 5 till 8, after 9:30 till noon, after 10 till 12, and you can see it's easier to see that. And it's hidden otherwise. So this whole thing, check in the match. I should maybe say check in at the match. Edit settings, I can edit that. Check in at the match to get fan points. There we go, that sounds a little better. Check in at the match. Okay, so that's going to be there, and they're going to be able to click on there. They can click on there. You can see how it works, and you can see the dates and the restriction sets. That's how this works. The icons only show up when, because I've got it saying hidden otherwise, when the event's going on. They can, as long as they've got Wi-Fi access, they can check in, and they will basically pick that up, and it will go away. As they pick it up, it'll go away until 24 hours has passed, but by then it's not this event anymore, right? So that's how that works. And if they hit refresh on the page, it's not going to come back, even though it just did for me because I'm the administrator on the site. It's just going to be gone. They're not going to be able to check in and get those points again. And then they're going to start accruing fan points and level up as a fan, and we can check and see who's what on the fan list once there's people on there that are following it. And we'll put this somewhere on the main site, but I wanted to show that to you so you'd know how to add those things, because obviously I'm not going to go through every single event. I'm going to leave that up to you.